What's up, Cinemaniacs? I just got back from Marvel's latest installment, Ant-Man. And I do want to give a big shout out to Cox Communications and Marvel for hooking us up with some pretty nice swag. I got a nice new Ant-Man shirt. I also got a little backpack. I'll show you a little picture before I get to my review. Ant-Man. We get to see Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, Corey Stoll, Michael Pena, and these will be my thoughts on this movie. So as of right now, most of you Marvel lovers understand that this was a movie, Ant-Man, that was supposed to get directed by Edgar Wright. And something happened, some creative differences, happened, and unfortunately Edgar Wright was not allowed to direct the movie that he wanted to do. So they parted ways and they signed on Peyton Reed. And he was the puppeteer for all of these actors in this story. Like I had mentioned before, you had Michael Douglas, Corey Stoll, Paul Rudd, Michael Pena, Evangeline Lilly, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And I will have to say that everyone in their roles were good. They were all good. There was a few standouts to me. I really enjoyed Michael Douglas. I thought that they had some kind of flashback scenes, if you want to say. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I will let you enjoy the ride for yourself. But they did have some flashback scenes, and they did a really good job with the CG work. One of my buddies who you're all familiar with is Brian Christina, who has been on a couple of shows with the Cine Talk with the Cinebros, and he actually ran into one of his friends who I just met for the first time. His name's Marty Lang, and he is in the film industry, and he's actually directed a movie. I'll get to that maybe on the next Cine Talk show. I'll let you know all about that and where you can find it. But he had a really good comment about Michael Douglas's look. He was like, man, they did some serious Benjamin Button CG work. And it is true. They did a really good job with the CG work for his character. And I would say they did a great job with the CG work throughout the film. I also feel like Michael Douglas's performance in this movie sold him as kind of a badass on top of being an extremely intelligent scientist. And that can be tough to do from time to time, but Michael Douglas sold me 100%. You also had Corey Stoll, who was playing kind of the evil villain. You kind of all know that from seeing the trailers. He is going to be Yellow Jacket. His portrayal of this character was pretty good. You got a pretty good dose of who this character is and where his moral ground stands right off the bat. So that was great. They sold you on everything. You know, Michael Douglas, Corey Stoll, and then they introduced you also to Paul Rudd's character, who is Scott Lang. And they did a phenomenal job setting you up and showing you that his character, although he did some bad stuff, was doing it for the good of other people. So his heart was always in the right place. He just happened to go about it in a not so legal way. And you also get introduced to Evangeline Lilly, and I feel like they did a great job with her character. I thought she was pretty good in the role. There were some times that, like, sometimes you have these actors that can come in and just sell you without saying a word. They can sell you exactly how they're feeling just by the way that their face moves. And with her character in this movie, there were some times that they did that, and yes, I got the idea of what she was thinking, and without her saying a word. But at the same time, it just wasn't that great. But overall, I feel like her character was very good, especially her interactions back and forth with Paul Rudd, her interactions back and forth with Michael Douglas, her interactions back and forth with Corey Stoll. They were all very good, and I can't really say anything negative about her character besides that. And as a matter of fact, there isn't a lot of negative things to say about this movie. I mean, some of the CG work, I think, is created more for 3D. I saw this in a 2D realm. I'd rather see most movies in 2D than 3D, because I feel like the 3D, you kind of lose sometimes things can get a little blurry and you lose a little bit of the quality of the picture. But I feel like this is one of those movies like the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I feel like that movie, it wasn't a good movie, but visually it was better with 3D than it was when I watched it in 2D. So I feel like this is one of those movies that probably visually it might look even better if I watched it in 3D, and I will be going to see this again in IMAX 3D. And as I was saying before, Paul Rudd's character, he did a great job because he is Ant-Man in this movie. So I need to talk about Paul Rudd a little bit, and you got Paul Rudd as Paul Rudd, but an even better Paul Rudd. It feels like his one-liners, you know, his little zings here and there were even better than they are in most movies. Like, you have him in Anchorman, you have him in The 40-Year-Old Virgin, you have him in so many different roles where he just kind of does these zings. He does it so perfectly, and in this movie, he does it even better. As far as humor goes, I think that you got more laughs in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which is this is the closest comparison that you could probably get to a Marvel movie, is Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man. I think most people kind of thought that, and that is what you get. You're kind of getting a more silly, almost goofy, not goofy, but a lot of humor mixed in with a lot of action. Like there are the Avengers movies, and there are a couple of laughs here and there, but mostly Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man had the most laughs. Now, I will say, Guardians of the Galaxy had some misses with some laughs. I cannot think of a line that was supposed to be a joke that did not hit and make the audience erupt with laughter. Michael Pena and Paul Rudd together, brilliant. They were so perfect in this movie and these roles that they played. You even had, I think it's T.I. that's in this movie, and this other character, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he played kind of this like computer hacking guy and had a Russian accent. He was pretty good as well, but he did slip out of his Russian accent once or twice, and I did notice that. So, you know, there's a little negativity there, but for the most part, everybody was perfect. Everybody was great. Now, will I say that this movie was a 10 out of 10? No, it was not a 10 out of 10. And if I had to, and I do have to, because that's what this is about, rate this movie out of 10, I would probably say that this movie was a 7.5 out of 10. I didn't like it quite as much as Guardians of the Galaxy, which I believe I gave an 8 out of 10, because that was so much fun. The music in it was amazing. It's just the overall experience about everything was a lot of fun. I do feel that the villain in this movie was a little better, but they had to do so many montages with Paul Rudd and his character's development that I felt like you kind of lost a little bit of the story just because they're doing these montages to sell how he's becoming who he is. And that's fine. It worked well in the movie, but it just kind of, you lost a little bit of the story because of that. But you did get to see a nice relationship between him and his daughter. I felt like they could have gone a little bit further into that and showed exactly how much he cares for his daughter. But due to everything that they had to try and fit into this movie, they couldn't really go that route. They couldn't completely sell you on it and really pull at those feels inside your body. They couldn't do it because I just don't think they had enough time. This movie was about almost 2 hours long, and it flowed perfectly. It definitely felt like a lot less. It felt like a 90-minute movie because how fast it went. I didn't check my watch once, and I had a lot of fun during this movie. Like I said, this is the funniest movie that Marvel has produced to date because not one of the jokes that was told failed. They all hit perfectly. The story was a little weaker than the Guardians of the Galaxy story. The Guardians of the Galaxy almost brought me to tears, especially at the beginning of that movie, and then totally flipped the script and really went action adventure, space opera with humor, and it was just so great. The soundtrack, amazing. This one didn't hit on all those cylinders, so therefore I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I will say you need to stay for all the extra credit scenes. There are 2. I was yelling out to people in the theater to not leave because people got up right as the movie was done and they started walking out. I wanted to make sure, I was like, don't leave. There's going to be 2 scenes. There are 2 scenes and they are very, very good. I don't say that these are the best that they have done, but they are right up there. There's at least one of them that is probably one of the best, if not the best. And the other one is pretty good too. So I would say that overall, the Marvel scenes that they had, the extra scenes in this movie, they definitely gave you more of what you want. They didn't just throw some fluff in there. This was a legit scene that will play out in future movies. So you need to stay and watch these clips, and they are good. Really good. So have you had the chance to see Ant-Man yet? What did you think about it? Sound off in the comment section below. You can follow me. My name's Shane Moore. You can follow me on the Cinebros Facebook page, which you can find right here below my name, facebook.com/the Cinebros. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, and I'll put a little clip right here. And so hit that subscribe button. As soon as we get to 100 subscribers, I will release that deleted scene from Cinetalk episode 12. If you enjoyed this review, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. If you're watching this on Facebook, sound off in the little comment section below there. If you hit the like button as well, I'd really appreciate it. If you're on YouTube watching this video, make sure that you hit that thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will be going to see this again in IMAX 3D very soon, so who knows, maybe that experience will take my review up a tick. As of right now, 7.5 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I hope to see you guys at the movies soon.